Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. And yes, it is that time. It is time for NFL picks for week 17 of 2022. Only one more week left in the season after this. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I had an off week last week. Last week, I was 8-7. As you make your way in, make sure to please hit that like button. I really would appreciate that. As I mentioned last week, slightly above 500, 8-7. But for the season, I am a robust 87-63. Now, these numbers will definitely get you paid. And I bet you a lot of NFL coaches wish they had a winning percentage that large. A cool 23 games over 500. Now, I'm going to start with the Thursday night game. Normally, I don't do the Thursday night games. I don't normally start until Saturday, or even Sunday, but I figure I'll be indisposed. I'll just put it like that during that time. So you get me early this week. And I will start with the Thursday night game. The Dallas Cowboys going into Tennessee to take on the Titans. In fact, Tennessee will be starting not Malik Willis, but Josh Dobbs, the ex-Steeler backup, will be starting for the Titans. A lot of guys will be out for not only Tennessee, of course. Hey, Miss Burnett, how are you doing? I know you're getting ready for New Year's Eve. I'm definitely New Year's Eve ready, but a lot of guys out for Tennessee. And Micah Parsons might be out. I know his hand is out. His hand has been injured. Tony Pollard, he might not even go tonight. A lot of injuries in this game now. Either way, Tennessee, their fate will be set the week after when they play the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's for all the money. So this game is a throwaway game actually for both teams, but more so for Tennessee because Dallas has to win out and hope that Philadelphia loses a couple of these games. And Philly could lose to the Saints. But the good news is for the Philly fans that Jalen Hurts practiced. Hey, Michelle's daughter, how you doing? Hope everything is going well with you. And, of course, say hi. What are my feelings on Ed Reed? Yeah, he took the job at Bethune-Cookman. I'm following in the footsteps of one Deion Sanders. Listen, I don't blame Ed Reed for taking that job, and I hope he does well. I mean, he has to start somewhere, of course, and it's not like any of these big college coaches are giving him a job. And listen, who wouldn't want to learn from Ed Reed? And maybe this will be a stepping stone for Ed Reed as well, you know. And hopefully Bethune-Cookman treats Ed Reed better than how Jackson State treated Deion Sanders. But going back to the game, I picked Dallas to win. I think Tennessee is just too beat up right now. Josh Dobbs hasn't played in a couple of years. I mean, is he a serviceable backup? Yes, he is, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're doing this game because they know Malik Willis is not ready. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals are going to take on the Atlanta Falcons. This will be the third game for Desmond Ridder at quarterback. Who knows who's going to be the Arizona quarterback? It won't be Colt McCoy. It'll be that McSorley kid from Ohio State. Excuse me, from Penn State. He's not any good. Both of those teams are going absolutely nowhere. Just played out the string. Excuse me. I do believe Atlanta always plays better at home. And Ridder has shown flashes. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons here, 27-20 over the Cardinals. Next up, the Jaguars will take on the Houston Texans. I told you Houston was going to get that upset, and they did it. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to save Lovie Smith. And listen, they shouldn't fire Lovie Smith. He really hasn't had anything to work with. We will see who they're going to pick in the draft. We know they're going quarterback, but it's going to be which quarterback. Trevor Lawrence has played much better over the second half of the season. Again, all the chips will be pushed to the middle of the table next week. Jacksonville versus Tennessee for the AFC South. Jaguars have to keep winning. They will keep winning. I do believe the Texans will keep it close. They are bitter rivals, but I like Jacksonville here, 27-23 over the Houston Texans. Next up, the Cleveland Browns, who have I don't know which Browns team is going to show up. Now, I'm going to give Deshaun Watson a pass last week because that was a tough one. The conditions there in Cleveland were ridiculous. Now, the Redskins, they got the brakes beat out of them in San Francisco, which is going to happen. San Francisco is probably the second best team in the NFL. We know they're the second best team in the NFC. Even with Brock Purdy, they've been winning. But for them to panic and put in Carson Wentz, and now he'll be the starter against Deshaun Watson, all eyes are going to be on him. I think that's going to take a lot of wind out of their sails. I think the the Commanders really like playing for Tyler Heineke. Deshaun Watson has not played like Deshaun Watson all season. But I do believe that Washington Commanders secondary is not very good. They do have a very good front seven. And Chase Young coming back definitely helps. And he showed flashes even last week. But, and I know the Brown season is literally over. But I think Deshaun Watson is going to show who he truly is this week. And Carson Wentz is going to show who he truly is. And let's face it, he's a loser. So I'm going Cleveland 31, Washington 20. That's my pick for that game. Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at home. They won, but they were abysmal in winning, let me tell you. And they will take on the Carolina Panthers. This game will more than likely determine the NFC South. Yeah, sometimes I do that too, but that's because, let's face it, in New York, no one really cares. Even though they are in Brooklyn, the only reason the people even care is because the Knicks are so bad that it's so easy for Brooklyn to take over the town. Now, have the Panthers played much better since they got rid of that college coach and got a real coach in there? Absolutely. You know what I'm talking about. Knicks are what a disgusting franchise they are. But that's another show. Now, one thing that Tampa Bay does get back is their center. He's the anchor of that offensive line, which has been abysmal, by the way. Tampa Bay's starting to get a little healthier now. I don't think they're going to win the whole thing. They will win this division. And that's because, quite frankly, nobody else in the division, including them, is any good. So by default, Tampa's going to win the division. Now, will they win this game by default? No, they're just going to win this game because they're just slightly the better football team. Now, they could lose this game, but I don't think – listen, are they going to keep Tom Brady out of the playoffs? Absolutely not. Tampa Bay 24, Panthers 17 in that one. Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles are at home, and they will take on the aforementioned New Orleans Saints. The Saints season can't come to an end quick enough. Now, they did win the game they weren't supposed to win in Cleveland. You can thank the elements for that. It'll be interesting to see if they keep that head coach. Dennis Allen has been a failure both in Oakland and here in New Orleans. Is he a good defensive coordinator? Yes. Is he a good head coach? Absolutely not. The Eagles will be – I'm not sure if they're going to start Minshew. As I mentioned, Jalen Hurts. He started practicing. Yeah, at first I was defending Deshaun Watson, but now I don't know what to think. I'm pretty disappointed in him. I really thought that he didn't, but he was too quick to shell out the money. And then and what really made me upset about him is I know if I did something wrong, I'm not apologizing for nothing, especially when I'm in the right. And I'm going to defend my name. So, I mean, I get it. But going back to the game, I like the Eagles here. It's going to be a close game. But I like the Eagles 27-23 over New Orleans. The next one is the Giants are at home taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, they're embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan, and I was a fan of Deshaun Watson. I'm a fan of his play. Don't get me wrong, but I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed in Deshaun Watson. I really, man. You got a lot of fuse. You got a lot of fuse, Miss Burnett. I'm telling you. I thought the man was at first innocent, but for him going up there to apologize, if I felt, you know what you were doing, my man. Come on. But let me get back to the game. Listen, the Colts season is done. Nick Foles is going to start again. I mean, he's washed. He was terrible. The Giants are playing for their playoff lives. I do believe they will play better this week. And that was a big win for them. And they have to keep it up. They win, and they're basically in. They should have beaten Kirk Cousins. I like the Giants here 28-20 over the Colts. The Colts have basically packed it in. Jeff Saturday probably got a couple more games left. Yeah, I did too. But I'm just so disappointed. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs are at home. We already know the Chiefs played totally different at home. And they're going to take on the Denver Broncos. Broncos got their coach fired. Russell Wilson. I don't think it's going to matter. The Broncos weren't going to win this game. I don't care if Russell Wilson's playing, ripping. I don't care who it is. The Chiefs are going to round into playoff form here. This is almost like a bye week. I like the Chiefs 37-24 over the Denver Broncos. Excuse me, just one moment. Next up, this is going to be an interesting game. Detroit looked like they were on a hot. I mean, they were on a hot streak. It looked like they were going to get into the playoffs. Then they got the brakes beat off them last week. Well, what do you mean he could go on? It looks like he's been on vacation all year the way he played. Oh, he could go on vacation now. He might as well go on vacation. Have Sierra ruin his career some more. My God. But, I like Justin Fields. But the Chicago Bears, their defense is kaput. Detroit always plays better at home. Oh, I'm telling the truth. My God. I'm so sick of Russell Wilson, too. He can kick rocks. Now, I don't know which Detroit team's going to show up, but I believe it'll be the Detroit team that can score with anyone. Sierra hasn't ruined his career? No, I mean, Russell Wilson, he's not the same athletically, and he can't get away with the things that he used to could get away with. It's just easier to pick on Sierra. I'm just saying. Next up, the Miami Dolphins. Without Tua, he is in concussion protocol yet again. And I'm actually afraid for the young man. I don't think he's going to play past 30. They're going to take on the New England Patriots. The Patriots suck. Mac Jones is going to play himself out of the job. Sort of like Derek Carr, but I believe that Teddy Bridgewater, and I know a lot of people will be picking the Patriots. They're favored by 2. No way I'm taking the Patriots. I'm going Miami 27, New England 24. I'm never picking the Patriots again. Listen, the Patriots season was over when they lost that game in Vegas. That was a joke. That was an absolute disgrace. I can never pick New England in another game. I cannot do it. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers are at home. They will take on Jared Stidham will be Raiders. Derek Carr has played his last game. Hey, the Smart Show, how are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. '49ers will keep rolling with Brock Purdy. And that's just what they're going to do. They're going to keep rolling. Josh McDaniels has been an abysmal head coach. He was abysmal in Denver. He's abysmal here. Now, part of it is Derek Carr. Derek Carr has been a loser outside of the 1 year. But this 49er team, this is a dangerous football team. They can win the whole thing even with Brock Purdy at quarterback because they don't ask the quarterback to do too much. I love San Francisco here. 31-21 in what used to be the Battle of the Bay. Not anymore, obviously, since they're in Vegas. Next up, the Seattle Seahawks are at home to take on the Jets. You know, it's so funny. Once upon a time, Geno Smith was a young quarterback for the New York Jets, and he was awful. Man, he was bad. This year, Geno Smith has actually been good. Now, the last couple of years, he hasn't played great. And good news for Jets fans is Mike White will be under center for the Jets at quarterback. I guess they've seen enough of old Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson might be on his way out. going from the number 2 overall pick to get out of town. He's just like Baker Mayfield. If the Jets win the last 2 games, they win with some help. But I think that the New York Jets pass quarterback is going to end it for him. I think Geno plays well enough because Seattle also has an outside shot at the playoffs, and they're playing for their lives as well. I like Seattle here 27-24 at home over the Jets. Next up, the Battle of LA has the LA Chargers going up against the LA Rams. Baker Mayfield has actually played pretty decent. Unless you know that Sean McVay can take any quarterback with some talent and make him look good. The problem with that is the Chargers have a wonderful quarterback, and he's starting to play himself in the playoff form. Now, they have not made the playoffs until this year, and they clinched last week. But I think that Justin Herbert is going to have a big game against this Rams team, which basically has checked out. I think Aaron Donald will not play another game in the NFL. You talk about taking a vacation, I think Aaron Donald should and will take a well-deserved vacation. And the next time we see Aaron Donald will probably be in Canton, Ohio, accepting the gold jacket and his Hall of Fame bust, and deservedly so. I think the Chargers will keep on rolling, 31-24 over the Rams. And then the good old NFC North, what used to be the NFC Central, good old Donnybrook, where the Vikings traveled to Green Bay to take on the Packers in the frozen tundra in Lambeau. Now, a lot of people are going to make a big deal of the Packers winning a couple of games straight, and they've been hot. I get it. And I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan. But the Vikings always play the Packers rough. Kirk Cousins has some of his best games against the Packers, even in Lambeau and in the cold. I know the Packers have been the hotter team, but the Vikings, even though the Vikings secondary is terrible, the Vikings front seven is starting to get home a little bit more. And the Packers have no answer for Justin Jefferson, no answer for DJ Hawkinson, no answer for Dalvin Cook. I don't care what Aaron Rodgers says. And I know the Packers are favored by 3.5. I'm taking the Vikings. That is I can't even call it an upset. But I like the Vikings here 34-31 over the Pack. And the Packers' fake playoff hopes go to bed there. And next up, the Sunday night game, where my Steelers take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens want to maintain their playoff hopes, of course. Now, the Steelers have a slight chance of making the playoffs. They could have lost that game last week. I didn't think they would against the Raiders. We have a tough time in Baltimore, but we played some of our better games in Baltimore, especially against this backup quarterback. I mean, we lost to the third string. We can't have that happen this week. And I do believe that the Steelers are going to win this football game. Now, I can see us losing to Cleveland somehow. But I have a feeling that the Steelers are going to win this one. Now, I'm not just saying this because I'm a Steeler fan. Kenny Pickett showed some guts and some gumption last week. If this is who he's going to be in the clutch, then you know what? I'm very happy with his development. George Pickens, the Ravens' defense has played pretty decent over the last couple of weeks, but that could be due to the level of competition as well. I like the Steelers here at 23-20 over the Ravens. And then a rare, very good Monday night game. Normally the Monday night games are trash, but here the Bengals are at home against the Buffalo Bills. This could be a preview of the AFC Championship. Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow. Man, this game could determine the MVP. If Josh Allen wins this game, I think he's locked it up. Now, a lot of people are going to say that Pat Mahomes will win it. I understand that. I mean, they took away his best option, but right now, Buffalo is the number one seed. Only problem is the Bengals are playing their best football right now. I think Buffalo keeps it close, but I think that's, and I hate that. I don't want to root for the Cincinnati Bengals, but you know me, I'm fair over everything. I like the Cincinnati Bengals here in a tough one, 34-31 over the Buffalo Bills. And those, my friends, are our NFL picks for Week 17, 2022. The next time I make my NFL picks, it will be 2023. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks to Michelle's daughter, The Smart Show, and, of course, Miss Cheryl Burnett, and everyone that has joined me. Have a happy and prosperous new year. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. UncleClaude signing out. Stay safe. Take care. Don't drink and drive. God bless, and all the best in the upcoming year.